Quick, you only have 10 seconds to leave a like and subscribe if you guys want all 100 tiers unlocked for Season X on your personal Fortnite account, all for completely free. Season 10 is now officially here. If it wasn't already obvious by, oh you know, this giant frozen in time meteor milliseconds away from destroying Dusty Depot, creating once was Dusty Divot, or in the future from now Dusty Divot, I don't even know, but either way, there's a ton of secrets that have been revealed in terms of how the storyline's going to develop, and ultimately how this time-twisted season is going to end. It's taken me quite some time to wrap my head around all this to understand it, so I'm going to try and explain everything in this video in the most simplistic manner, whilst also showing some very small minor map changes that are either really weird, interesting, or just kind of funny. Despite many people not knowing everything that's ultimately been changed in the map right now, we have some upcoming changes pulled from the game's files by data miners, showing a cowboy or Wild West revamp to tilted towers that we've never seen before. With that said, make sure you're sticking around and watching the full video today to understand everything that's not only in the map but upcoming, as this season, also confirmed by the developers, is going to be rapidly changing even by the day.
The world you play today may not be the world you play tomorrow.
Also, before I scramble you guys' brains with all this intel in this video, I'd quickly like to say that we're gifting subscribers, new ones every single day, the Battle Pass for Season X, considering it's now giftable in its own way. For a chance to receive the Battle Pass for completely free off me, simply make sure you subscribe to the channel and comment your Epic Game ID down below, that way I can add you and potentially send you the Season X Battle Pass for completely free. Despite just surpassing 500,000 subscribers as of recently, we're on the road fast tracking now to 550,000 subscribers. So I challenge everybody watching the video right now who isn't subscribed to subscribe, obviously getting us to that milestone even quicker. Do you guys also want me to give away more Battle Passes than I already am, and obviously increase your individual odds of winning one? Well, simply make sure you're using code FriendlyMachine in the item shop, because I directly refund all the money earned from this into giving things back to you guys, in this case what everybody wants, the brand new Season X Battle Pass. Anyways, with all that out of the way now, let's hop into the first, most important, biggest thing that everybody's going to notice, and why it's here, literally milliseconds away from hitting Dusty Depot, creating Dusty Divot, the meteor itself. It's actually kind of cool. We get a full perspective look at what this meteor actually is in terms of the size, and obviously what's consisted even throughout it, because we can go inside it, which we're going to be getting into in a minute, because the only prior look we had at this was, well, in the Season 4 trailer itself, and didn't give us a good understanding or perspective of the magnitude or size of this thing to create this giant meteor hole that once was Dusty Divot. Speaking of the original Season 4 Dusty Divot and the inside of this meteor, they have one thing in common. They've both contained the capsule for the visitor skin, of which he visited the map in itself. The only time twisting problem we face here is the fact, well, the capsule is already opened inside the meteor, and this didn't open for ages upon being crash landed at Dusty Divot until like week 7. Does this mean the rocket never launched and opened the interdimensional rift portals and ultimately kickstarted the entire storyline we've seen led up until now at the start of Season X, almost seemingly repeating itself throughout the entirety of this season? I guess our brains will yet remain scrambled for some more time. To add to this scramble furthermore, we saw the rocket itself in the Season X trailer ultimately foreshadowing its return at some point, yet some of the map is saying no, this hasn't happened yet, and the other half is. The Snobby Shore lair having all the damage dealt to it ever since the rocket launch, and because of it, whilst in the other part of the map, the visitor skin hasn't even crash landed yet because the meteor is milliseconds away from destroying Dusty Depot. Honestly, my brain hurts after that, after trying to explain or make sense of everything that literally doesn't make sense, but the thing we can ultimately just bear in mind throughout this entire season is the fact that the time twist concept is the most important and ongoing factor. It's most likely this season everything is going to repeat itself in some way, shape or form in whatever place or time it occurs in our Fortnite Battle Royale realm, and hopefully after this season, when everything seems to be jumbled together and ultimately the island can't take it anymore, we're transported to a new island because of the demise of all these things ongoing at once. This would make sense and be really cool, considering many players expected this to happen for the outcome of the final showdown event occurring toward the end of Season 9 live within game. Just to recap, how cool was this cinematic of the robot slaying the Polar Peak monster? And speaking of this exact position, with the bones obviously remaining there shortly after the live event occurred, they are still there to this day, and obviously the radioactive substance leaking off the bones are causing the scenery around where the bones still stand to go pink. Whether this is positive or not, For the island itself, we're yet to know. Moving over to the single thing that's responsible for all of this, time twist bother anyways, and obviously the polar peak monster being defeated, the orb at Loot Lake seems to be frozen in time also, in a capsule upon entering is anti-gravity based. I can honestly see this changing a lot throughout the season anyways, considering the orb is still here, thus meaning its purpose is not over, and obviously nothing else can come from the vault, meaning that this is the only purposeful thing from it, and also as just mentioned, it's responsible for everything that's happened, whether it's the time twist bother with everything like this giant meteor coming through the interdimensional portals, so who's to say this can't happen again further throughout the season, bringing back other things from prior seasons and freezing them in time before they actually unfold some drastic live event, or event included within a cinematic trailer. Due to everything happened with the orb exploding, the vault door seems to be covered over by all the rubble or destruction around it, filling it in, ultimately making it inaccessible, meaning that the only thing out of the vault that was useful anyways, or had some sort of contribution to our storyline relevant, was this orb in the first place. This now means there are no others like it in the vault anyways that can be accessed or responsible for map changes, and ultimately this orb will be responsible for the upcoming map changes leaked from the files mentioned briefly at the start of the video, being a cowboy or Wild West themed tilted towers. Here is an overview on screen of what it'll look like when you go to view it on the map, selecting a place to land or trying to find one, and here is some cinematics of what it will look like in-game leaked from the files and implemented from Fortnite over on Twitter. Obviously the involvement or responsibility for this named location of the orb is largely foreshadowed, considering there seems to also be this kind of weird dome capsule, anti-gravity base that we saw at Loot Lake, around the named location itself that will be soon implemented, called Tilted Town, that's very Wild West or cowboy themed. This is honestly really cool, one of the first complete revamps to a named location that we've seen mid-season anyways, considering it got destroyed toward the end of Season 8 and then revamped, shown in the Season 9 trailer for the first time, and upon the update going live with the downtime obviously dropping off and finishing, we could then go and view all these map changes ourselves. I'm really interested to see how this pans out. Will something happen live within the game, or things happen throughout this season, ultimately changing the map that we can see in-game at random times, not announced by Fortnite, making it a complete surprise? I definitely think this would keep people interested throughout the entire season. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Moving on to our smaller map changes in-game, yet still have important relevance towards the storyline or predicting future map changes, is the revamp to the robot structure or transformer-esque looking thing at the outskirts of Paradise Palms. Obviously in prior seasons it's been updated very slightly, and I'll get pictures on screen right now literally showing this, but it foreshadowed the robot lifting the sword in Season 9 out of the Tilted Tower statue or Neo-Tilted to defeat the Polar Peak monster, and obviously that relevance or correlation is made furthermore in Season 10, considering it's got one arm just like the robot did at the end of the live event, the final showdown. This literally could have been deciphered at any time right in front of our eyes, but no, obviously people didn't correlate, a giant stack of random cards to what the robot would look like in its final form, defeating even the Polar Peak monster. Moving on, for many seasons now we've had this kind of underlying story of stone people trying to reach each other, and upon reaching each other, as many of you may know, formed a family toward the end of Season 9 and lived here where they seemingly can't be seen anymore. Besides the dog obviously that they, obtained somehow, which was a pet to the Stone family. But that's the only thing or remains of this Stone family sadly in Season 10. Maybe they'll make a reappearance at some point, considering they may have been sucked through one of these interdimensional portals, as shown literally as a crossroads of these in the Season 10 trailer. Another named location that's largely foreshadowed to be returning is the OG Risky Reels from Season 4, firstly implemented then. Obviously, this had a large cinema screen and was a cinema showcase that you could literally just seemingly drive to if you had a car, based off the tradition in America predominantly anyways, and this is shown throughout basically one of these Mayan looking structures on the outskirts of Sunny Steps, with a seemingly smaller screen than what we saw largely than Risky Reels, but still with the same prospect of chairs around to view something on a screen. Also in a similar location on the map to where Risky Reels once stood. Does this mean the return will be coming, considering it's already been rumoured and found somewhat in the files, yet not implemented? I guess we're yet to know. Moving on to some of our more nonsense-worthy and ultimately weird map changes, starting out on the outskirts of Paradise Palms, we have this small building protruding like a Stranger Things-esque looking scenery, roots or branches. Why is this happening? Why was this implemented? Maybe for a challenge? I guess we're yet to know, but honestly, the only guess I have is for one of the weekly challenges upcoming, and obviously it's stated to visit here for some reason as a part of one of the challenges. Transferring over to a complete different and opposite biome, the snowy region, it's foreshadowed here from this toilet antenna looking kind of castle building that Flush Factory will be making a return in the future. Upon entering here, it seems a shrine to toilets is made, ultimately wanting somebody anyways from Epic Games to make a return of the Flush Factory named location. Would you guys be hyped to see Flush Factory return? Let me know in the comment section down below. Honestly, I think it was really underrated and definitely somewhere I'd like to land at yet again in Season X. Considering we're on the topic of these small buildings containing weird things, whether it's branches or toilets like we've just seen, we can head over to Paradise Palms yet again, just as the desert biome begins from greenery fading, and you can see a giant teddy bear in one of these shacks. Now, what do these mean? Obviously, we've seen teddy bears throughout the map in random locations scattered around our realm for many seasons, but never one as big as this. Does this mean they're going to be more of a forefront in our challenge set or storyline for Season X? Honestly, I think this would be really cool. Another small shack, in particular located at Lazy Lagoon, implying a reversion to the prior named location Lazy Links, can be seen obviously because of this golf sign and golf flag. Does this mean at some point, obviously because of this time twist kind of theme we're going with here throughout the season, and ultimately, confirmed by the developers, is going to be ever more changing throughout the days that pass, that we'll be seeing the return of Lazy Links, the golf course itself, and obviously all the greenery and vastness it contained. Also, now making our way to the west of Pleasant Park, we can see Gnome Area 51. The reason I say this is because it's a small building heavily guarded in all cross sections by gnomes. Obviously, we've seen gnomes implemented before for challenges that we can either find sniggering around the map, these very sinister laughs anyways, and now it seems we've got one not only guarded by gnomes, but filled with them, which is honestly really creepy. I'm guessing again it's going to be a re-implementation of gnome-based challenges to do with these at some point, whether visiting it for a certain part of the challenge out of 3 particular locations, but I guess again we'll have to wait and see. I almost forgot to touch upon the factories that have returned. Obviously the OG location landed at predominantly anyways in Season 1, 2, 3. These were only contained here because Dusty Depot was there and obviously have made a reappearance now, considering the time twist region has obviously largely affected more so the Dusty Divot or Dusty Depot vicinity of the map, bringing back also these crates, which many people obviously like to loot, and obviously really overrated in my opinion. I never get good loot from here. Do you guys? I don't know, it might just be my bad luck, but let me know in the comment section down below. The final thing to mention in this video, the map change anyways that you guys will probably be interested in confirming, something kinda sad, considering many people wanted Moisty Maya to return, is the sign outside of Paradise Palms, the name location exactly just outside, saying now entering Paradise. Obviously foreshadowing the fact, or basically revealing, that nothing to do with Moisty Maya is teased here to return anytime soon, but that doesn't mean that it won't return throughout the season's full duration, considering we have 66 full days of Season X. Either way, would you guys want Moisty Maya to return, or kind of a mix and match of 2 completely separate biomes, the Swamp Moisty Maya and Paradise Palms? Let me know in the comments. So with all these map changes mentioned, broken down, explained, or ultimately tried to be made sense of in this video, what was your favourite? And obviously, these are happening randomly pulled from several parts of the Fortnite storyline or existence we've seen so far throughout seasons because of this time twist theme we have here. I mean, the meteor itself is ultimately something many people would have never expected to be hovering milliseconds above Dusty Depot from destroying it, creating Dusty Divot, but hey, it's happening, and obviously more even drastic events are going to happen throughout the season to keep people's interest. With that said, if you enjoyed today's video or the explanation I tried to give in your understanding, or helping you understand anyways what's going to be going on throughout Season X, ending it to maybe create a new map, then make sure you're leaving a like on the video down below. Saving the video also to the like playlist means the video is very easy to re-access if you want to perhaps watch this video again to reinterpret or regather information you didn't perhaps comprehend in your first watch. Also make sure you're subscribing to the channel down below with the post notification bell turned on, because we're going to be pumping out so many things to do with Season X that other YouTubers won't be covering, such as the secrets discussed in today's video regarding the storyline. Hopefully I can recognise you guys in the comment section down below from remaining active in my future videos to come, and I'm out. Have an amazing rest of your day or night wherever you are whenever you're watching. Have a good one, take it easy, and as always, peace.